don't work out that way. Well, alright. That was a hot ending. I can't take shit from that. I thought it was going to be a little bit different. I thought I was going to be that dead body I found at the top of the lighthouse, but that was a badass ending, man. I can't lie. I've had my brother tell me, a friend tell me that the ending to this game was the shit. It was the greatest ending that they ever played, but I didn't let them really spoil the game for me, because I wanted to make this review fresh out of the gate with no expectations. I didn't want it to seem like I was faking my own commentary or faking my own review with fake ass emotions and shit, like some YouTube channels do. Won't name names, but they out there, but that was hot. I kind of guessed a little bit of it, but I didn't guess the whole fruition of it. I kind of guessed that the parallel universe thing. I kind of guessed that, and kind of guessed the thing that you were Comstock. At the beginning of the game, I thought that Anna, was gonna be like DeWitt's girl or something that got killed because of him. But apparently, I was wrong. And then when the girl met Elizabeth, when you were taking her through, throughout the city, he called her Anna. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe that was his girl, and maybe he just don't remember it, But it wasn't his girl, but it was his kid. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of didn't even know that Elizabeth was going to be Booker's kid, because the whole game they were saying, oh yeah, she's Comstock's kid, and then at the end of the game, they was like, yo, he's not, she's not Comstock's kid. And that thought always bugged me, like, as I'm playing through, like, the rest of the board since they told you that, like, okay, so whose kid is she? It kind of made no sense. I kind of guessed the fact that they took her from another world, but I didn't know from where. That was kind of hot. Alright, first of all, let me do it the right way. Alright, what I'm going to do is make this like a structured kind of sort of thing, where I'm going to give my likes and dislikes on all the different aspects of the game, and then give my personal overview of the story. Before I get off track and just start ranting on for like a half hour. Okay, graphics. The game was very, very colorful, very beautiful, very modelish, if I could, make up a word for it. It didn't give off that air of, oh my god, this looks realistic, but it was cool. It fit the game. It kind of had it's like they wanted to make a good 3D game, throw in some realistic facial features, but they still wanted to give it that cartoonish look. And maybe they wanted to do that because Elizabeth looked just like Belle from Beauty and the Beast. So maybe they wanted to fit in that tone, because a lot of her expressions when it came to her face was very Disney-like and cartoonish and things of that nature. So maybe they wanted to just do that to convey that aspect of it. They wanted to bring back those old Disney moments of her singing and shit, so that it makes the player remember, like, oh yeah, I remember all those Disney movies I've seen over the past 30-something years that, brings up that. So that gets you in the frame of mind. The audio of the game, done very well. You had all the different old-timey music playing going on. All the different level music. The voice acting was done very good. Everything about the game, audio-wise, was done pretty good. I can't give a complaint on that. It was perfect. It was as good as it was going to get. What else? The story. Well, I'll save that for last. I'll save that for last. I'm not going to jump into that right now, because that was a lot of it. What else can I say about the game? The length. The length of the game was pretty good. I liked the length of it. It was long. It was a nice, good length. It felt like you got towards the end of the game, like right after you fought Lady Comstock. From that moment on to the airship portion, and from when you got to Comstock again, that kind of felt like filler. I don't know why it feels like that. I can't give an exact reason, because maybe don't nothing really go on with the story. It just drags on. Like, okay, we got to get the Comstock, and it just doesn't. It just felt like filler. But even if it wasn't there, the game had a lot of length. Like if it got to like maybe had me play 10 minutes past fighting Lady Comstock, getting the Comstock house, fighting my way through there, and then bam, I'm at Comstock and I'm, finished the end of the game. It had a nice length to it. It wasn't too short. I didn't feel like I didn't get my money's worth out of this game. What else is pretty good was the overall theme of the game. I mean, because I know when I first heard about this game, and this is the honest God truth, I was turned off of Bioshock 2. Like, I played part 1. It wasn't the greatest game I played, but I loved what they did. Even I know it was a spiritual successor to a couple of other games, I loved the game's narrative. I love how they told the narrative. The gameplay aspects of it were fun, but I think they could have been worked to make it better. And then you got part 2. And part 2 turned me off. I didn't even finish part 2. I don't even know how it ended. I don't even know how it compares, even if they decided to fit different story elements in this game, because I don't know how it ended. I don't know if it even ties in. Because I know you go back to Rapture and you fight the little sister, and that's as far as I got. I didn't even make it halfway through that game before I took it out, because nothing about the game was keeping me playing it. I just lost interest in it a few hours after I first popped it in. So when it came to this game, it was like, oh look, Bioshock 3 is coming out. I'm like, yo, whatever. That game's not even on my radar. Don't care. Didn't even care about it, I want to say, like, until about a month before it dropped, a few weeks ago. I was over at a friend's house, and then he was talking about the game and was pumped for it, and I'm like, Bioshock? I was like, whatever. I mean, I could care less what they do. The only thing I remember seeing about the game before a month ago was, I remember when Game Informer did an article on it, and it was like their cover game. And it was the first time they was announcing something or showing something about the game. And they was like, oh yeah, it's going to be taking place, at this, carnival kind of sort of thing. And it was showing all these balloon airship kind of sort of things. And I was just like, oh, whatever. Bioshock at a carnival, not feeling it. And then, I just turned it off. I didn't watch nothing until when I was over at my friend's house and he played, I think it was, I don't know which trailer it was. I know this game has tons of trailers, but it was the one gameplay trailer where you was zipping on the skylines and jumping down and shooting people and using your powers and stuff. I think it was, they were gonna, I think how it started was, Booker and the girl were walking through the city and they were about to like shoot some guy in the head or something, and Booker was like, stop, he didn't do nothing wrong, and then they all turned and that's how it broke out. I seen that trailer and I was like, yo, that's what the game's gonna be like? That shit look fun as shit. So that's when I started watching a few of the other trailers for it. It was like, I'm getting that game when it come out, and I'm recording it. I'm playing it because it looks fun. It looks like this game has better combat than the other Bioshock games. I'm glad they took out the multiplayer, because I know part 2 had like a multiplayer. I've never played it, but I know it had it. I'm glad that they took it out because it allowed them to put their full focus on the single player and the story and the longevity of the game, to really put their best foot forward in that regard. And it showed. I don't know what their budget was for this game, but you can tell that they got a healthy chunk of money to make this game and to make it good and to make it sell and market it well and all that. Because I know my friend, he got one of the editions of the game where it comes with like the songbird and all of this, all of this extra, collector's edition shit, and it was badass. They didn't have to do none of that, but they did. I remember he even showed me that they came with like these old timey video documentaries talking about where is Colombia, what happened to it. We found these ancient artifacts talking about Colombia as if it was like a back in the day documentary on this city that existed that we just lost and never found again. That was badass. They didn't have to do that, but it's viral marketing. I'm glad they did that. It got you wanting to play the game. It got you more in depth about the game, and it just made the game have a bigger universe than what you saw while you played it. And that's another thing I'm gonna touch on. This game had a lot more backstory as far as to the characters, which I was glad to see, because in part 1 you never really had a backstory like that. It was just you were you were Andrew Ryan's son, and you were mentally pre-programmed to come back here and kill the guy's father because the guy programmed you when you were young. But that was it, Whereas in this, you had a backstory about you was this dude. You talked as you played through the game. You kind of went through his experiences as if anybody would. So it was pretty good. And you met everybody you met in the game. At the end of the game, I now understand their place. Like the one lady and the one guy that kept popping up throughout the whole game. I know what their place is in the game now. It makes sense. I want to go back and play through the game again and then recognize, now that I know the story, I want to recognize all of the things that I may have missed or didn't understand when I first played it, And it made the game better for it. I mean, the game is just good. I mean, the story of the game, it was done very well. I will get that. I like how it had that whole, looking back on it, I like how it had that whole conspiracy kind of sort of, I don't say conspiracy feel to it, but you didn't know what was going on, and you didn't understand everything until like the last 5 minutes. And I think that's what makes the game so mind blowing. It was like in Outer Limits episode where like they showed you all this shit and you didn't give you the last piece of information you needed until at the end, and then it's a mind fuck, and it just screwed you over, and it made you think like, what the fuck did I just play? and that is what's going to keep your interest and draw you into play it again. Like right now, I just want to pick it back up and play it again. I want to hit start, you like say fuck this review and just get right back into it, but I can't do that because I'm entertaining you guys. So, but the story in the game was done very well. I like how they made you. The only thing I didn't like about it, but maybe I'm just a special case because it's just weird to me, is a couple things when it comes to your interactions with the girl seem forced. And they seem forced because they try to make you have certain emotions in the game and make you grow to like the girl, so they at the end you feel protective of her at the end of the game. But me personally, I don't get attached that quickly to a video game character. I mean, it's not like she's Garrus or Tali from Mass Effect. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I didn't have hours upon hours with this girl. You know what I'm saying? And so I don't feel that attached to her. It's just, okay, at the end of the game when you was, drowning Comstock and cracking his skull open on that, that holy water basin, I mean, it kind of felt forced because you didn't do nothing like that throughout the whole game. Maybe the game gives you the choice. Maybe if I didn't have walked over to him and press X to grab his ass, maybe I wouldn't did it. I don't know. But on my first beating the game just now, on my first actions of doing it, that's what happened. So it feels forced. Like I didn't choose to do that. Whereas I went over there and pressed X. But you guys understand what I'm saying. I mean, I didn't choose to just, it's not like I was like, okay, press X to kill Comstock because I want to protect this girl. It was more just like, okay, I got to progress the story because I'm recording, so let me go over there and hit X. I can see why they didn't give you the choice, though. See, that's the beauty of it. If you're somebody who doesn't think, you're probably just going to play it and be like, oh man, I want to have that choice at the end. Like I'm saying now, I wanted that choice. But the difference is I can understand why they did not give you that choice. Because if they didn't give you that choice, then you would have had to play the game a certain way up until that point. And then once you have that point, you either have point A or point B. And if you pick that point B, that means they cannot end the game the way they want to have that finite ending. Let's say like you pick point B and you don't kill Comstock because you just, was a nice guy. You didn't kill him. But then how does that change the end of the game? Now Booker can't kill himself. Now you can't. You know what I'm saying? They would have to change all that. They would have to make the game open-ended. Meaning Comstock lived and Booker lived to make another game. Or they could just come out with the next game and be like, okay, well the default canon ending is if Booker killed him. But then to everybody who plays and picked that choice B, you just kind of fuck them over. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I said, I was like, I can understand why they didn't give you the choice. But the difference is, I would have liked to have the illusion of the choice, you know? Let's say make me pick option A and you kill Comstock, or let's say you pick option B and something else happens, but let's say he still dies. You know what I'm saying? You know, like say like 10 minutes after explaining something, he dies some kind of way, or you know, something happens, but you still get the same ending. I wish they did it like that. That way people would have played through the game twice to experience a different ending or something like that, and to give people, you know, more of the opportunity to play through the game again. Yeah, but another thing, I also like how the story, like even after that, when Anna or when Elizabeth was explaining the whole parallel universes, I thought that was a great idea. That was a great idea. I kind of put it together as they was telling me it, but it was a great idea because it gave you an explanation for the other Bioshock game. You know, it gave you another explanation for part 1. And how, like, let's say if they decide to make a Bioshock 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, then they could just make up whole brand new experiences and have it fit as long as they keep the core mechanics the same in every game. And that's what I like about that idea. As long as you have these core things, like you have an antagonist, you have a protagonist, you have a city that's fucked up, you have powers, you have little, you know, a little girl, you have, you know, a big daddy. As long as you have like those 4 or 5 things, you have a Bioshock game in another parallel universe. You know what I'm saying? What would make it hot? I mean, I can't understand if they did it like this, but the only twist that they could give is if they would make Booker DeWitt like Andrew Ryan's son and make, like, you know what I'm saying? But I don't see how they could do that and make it fit, so they just made it like another person, so that'd be cool. But like if you played the same person in every game, going down to the city, killing your father, that would make sense. But I like how they did it in this, you know, better than that idea. So I mean, I like that better. But overall, the game was great. I mean, the game was nice. It was done very well. I don't have no complaints about it. Do I think it's the greatest game I've ever played? No. Do I think it's the greatest game I played within the last 10 years? No, again. I can't say that. This game, that would have... I mean, if I did have to pick a game that does that, I'd have to pick Mass Effect. This game doesn't elicit the same long-term emotions that I felt when I played Mass Effect. This game doesn't draw forth, you know, the same effort, the same drive to complete it, to save the world. You know, you don't want to have that, oh, I want to save this girl because it's the right thing to do. And no, you don't have that, or at least I didn't have that playing the game. Maybe other people did in your game. I mean, it's cool if you did, but I didn't have it in mind. So I can't say that this game didn't drive me like that. This game didn't, I didn't dive head over heels in this game the way I did, let's say, Mass Effect 3. I don't know why that is. Maybe because Mass Effect, the story grew over 3 games. Maybe if this game would have done that, then maybe it would have been the same. So the ending, it was a great ending to a game. It was a nice sci-fi twist on it. But since it didn't grab me 100%, like the Mass Effect franchise did, it doesn't. I can't say this game is even better than Mass Effect in my eyes. It's just the way it is. So I don't think this game is the greatest game I've played ever. It's just a really great game. This is in my top 5. I can say this. This is in my top 5 of my greatest games of the past 10 years. That I can say. Besides this generation, Xbox 360, and the regular Xbox and last gen, this game is probably in my top 5. It's that good. That's how much I liked it. It's just not as good as, you know, the type of game that I would give Mass Effect in my eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way it is. But I appreciate you guys watching this review and hearing me ramble on about it. I don't know how long I've been rambling. I got to go back and check the video, but I assume it's probably been like 15 minutes, but I don't know, but we'll see. But thanks for watching the review, guys, and if you came over from watching my Let's Play of Bioshock, you know, Bioshock Infinite, I want to thank you for watching that too. Like and rate the video if that's what you want to do. If you don't, hey, dislike it. Tell me how much of a bitch I am and how much, I fucking suck at the game, because that seems like all YouTube is now is negativity. But I appreciate you guys for watching as always, and I see you guys in the next one. Peace out.